Ever wondered how Ctrl Z actually works? Not magically, not with if else. It's a design pattern that senior devs rely on all the time. And today, I'm gonna show you how to build it in C# using the command pattern. By the end of this video, you'll know how actions can be turned into objects, why this pattern powers undo and redo operations, how to implement the command pattern in clean testable C#, and most importantly, when to use it. No theory dump, just practical real-world design. This video is part of my series Design Patterns Code Like a Senior Dev, where we take patterns out of the textbooks and put them where they belong, in real code bases. If you want to think like an experienced developer, make sure you check out the playlist. Let's talk about the real problem. In most apps, a button click does a lot. It sometimes saves data, call a service, log an action, send a notification, and usually all of that logic lives right inside the click handler, which means UI knows business logic. There is no easy undo that you can do. There is no way to queue or replay actions, and then this code gets harder every sprint. Now here's the key question. What if clicking a button didn't execute logic, but instead created an instruction? That idea is the command pattern. The command pattern is built on one powerful idea: encapsulate a request as an object. Not a method call, not a conditional, an object. Why? Because objects can be stored, they can be passed around, they can be logged, queued, and they can be undone. That's how Ctrl Z actually works. If you look at the command pattern as a film, there are 4 roles that you need to remember. First, command, that is the contract, and then concrete command, which is the actual action or the implementation of that command contract. Then there is receiver that actually does the real work, and then there is invoker that triggers the command. Let's build it step by step. Step 1 is to define the command interface. Every command follows this same contract. One method, one responsibility. Step 2, create the receiver. The receiver knows how to do the work. So if you look at this code, the editor doesn't care about buttons or menus. It just does the editor things. That is to write. Step 3 would be to create a concrete command. Now we wrap the action inside an object. So if you look at this code, this is the key shift. The action is no longer called. It's represented. Now, step 4 would be to create the invoker. The invoker triggers commands without knowing that they do. So now if you look at this code, this button is intentionally dumb. And that's a good thing, because it doesn't have to know about anything else. That's abstraction at its peak. Now, step 5 is to wire everything together. This is how we would do it. No tight coupling, no conditionals, just clean delegation. The question is where the Ctrl Z actually comes in. Now imagine this, instead of executing commands and forgetting them, you store them. So ideally you can create a stack of I command and you can call it history. Every time a command runs, you push it onto this stack. Undo, pop the last command and reverse it. That's it, that's Ctrl Z. This is why experienced developers love this pattern. So now the question arises, when actually to use it? This design pattern is perfect for undo-redo systems, as we have seen now, task queues, macro recording, decoupling the actual logic from the UI, auditing and logging actions. It's an overkill when logic is tiny and static, no need for flexibility, and you are forcing patterns for ego. Not good. Patterns are tools, not decorations, so use them wisely. So now you understand why Ctrl Z isn't magic, how commands turn actions into objects, and how this pattern would probably decouple your system. If your code base feels rigid, this pattern gives you the leverage. This was the command pattern in C# from Design Patterns Code Like a Senior Dev. If this helped you think differently about the code, hit the like, subscribe, and check out the full series. Because senior devs don't write more code, they design the code better. See you in the next one. Till then, take care.